Hey everyone, and welcome back to ColdplayXtra Live. Back again. Today we're welcoming back Maya. Maya, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this show.
Great. And welcome back, Ian. It's been a while. Congratulations to you and Sarah on bringing baby Haley into the world. Hope everything's
Thank
going
you.
well. Hope fatherhood is treating you well.
It's treating me as you'd expect. Not much sleep, but worth it. Best thing in the world.
That's
So
great. That's absolutely great. So,
it's a miracle I'm here. So, but I'm very happy because we got a good show.
I know, I'm really, really excited. Yeah, today is going to be a different show for me personally, because I'm the one being interviewed partially, along with Maya. We'll be talking about our experiences at Coldplay's first US show in Dallas, and of course, talking about singing "Humankind" with Chris Martin, lead singer of a band called Coldplay, I think. I don't know. You might have heard of him. Um, So this could be the end of me, Abhi, as the relatable host. So if you want to cancel me, the official hashtag is Abhi is over party. But well, let's see how it goes till then. And once again, before we get into it, the ColdplayXtra team is working very, very hard on getting you all the latest content from the tour. We hope you're enjoying it so far. And if you're going to a show in the US or Europe or anywhere in the world this summer, please remember to tag us, ColdplayXtra, in your stories and posts and more on Instagram and everywhere across social media, ideally. But we've had so much great content coming from Latin America and Texas, and hopefully today from Arizona on our page, thanks to our followers tagging us and the content. It makes it so much easier to find interesting interactions on stage, good videos, good pictures, etc. Some people are wearing amazing costumes and stuff as well, which we'd love to see. So yeah, please continue sharing those, and we can share that with the rest of the Coldplay community. And only good things are happening when people share. So there you have it. ColdplayXtra Instagram, especially, is the place to be. With that, Ian, I'm going to lend you the hosting responsibilities for a little bit. But before that, Maya and I have had one question asked of us from every single person in the past week or so. How did all this happen? So can you share how it all kind of came about, really?
Yeah, well, obviously we sold some cold cards. I think they're called. No, I'm just kidding. No, we've never sold anything through Coldplay Extra, and I don't know if we ever will, to be honest. Which is crazy. We have 200,000 followers and we've never made a dollar. So I can hear marketing managers screaming from the distance. Anyway, I can't really go into specifics, but let's just say there was a request from
Mm.
management team, and we didn't really know what it was for, and it all kind of turned out pretty well in the end, I guess. It wasn't until I think the Wednesday night when we found out what it really was going to be.
Right.
It was dubbed as just like some social media thing, and yeah, I thought it would be the partnership that they did with Dallas train
Hmm.
transport thing, Dart, because
Yeah.
that was similar messaging time. Anyway, I think you got to that in the end, but so it kind of was that, but
Yeah. Some of your guess was correct.
some of it, yeah. So yeah, that's that's how it happened, basically.
Sounds good. Well,
Mm.
now you can take it away. I believe you have lots of questions for us. Why don't you start us
Yes.
off?
All right, it's my turn to be the host. Maya, lovely to meet you. And thank you for coming on the show. Not the last show, the show before. It was amazing to watch. Me and my baby watched Haley from the sofa. It was great. Um, First question to you both, but first to Maya. What was your reaction like when you found out you'll actually be singing with Chris or
Well,
Coldplay?
yeah, thank you again and congratulations again. It's really nice to meet you, Ian. Um, it is so hard to quantify the emotions that were going on in my head. As soon as Music of the Spheres came out and we knew that Humankind was going to be a track on the album, I was already like, this is going to be my favorite song. Like, this is amazing. This is going to be the one. So to then like fast forward and be able to sing it was like the absolute shock of my life. I remember getting the context around what we would be doing, and immediately just like, okay, I already know every lyric, but like, let me re-listen to the song over again. Let me like make sure that, and then we got what our parts would be. So obviously a lot less detailed, but it was like the overall experience was absolutely incredible. And that initial shock and awe of like, I'm about to, one, have this experience with my favorite band and my favorite singer in the world, and then two, my favorite song on their newest album. Like I can't even put it into words. It was like spectacular.
Amazing, amazing. Abby, I guess I think you messaged me to say you forgot the lyrics to Humankind because
Yeah.
your brain was that gone.
It was very fried. So I was going to the Dallas show anyway. This is already part of my plan for a few weeks. I'd seen all the content come out of Central America. I'd spoken to Maya and Eduardo and all the other fans on the streams. And I knew, okay, I need to go to one more show than whatever I'm planning already. And it has to be the first show in the US, like it has to be special. So this is already part of the plan. Um, and I knew, I got to know that something of this might like brew up, or they contacted us, and I was landing at noon on that day, on Thursday. I was supposed to. And I remember texting you because I was like, I was thinking, I was sitting on the plane before like we took off, and I was just trying to sing the song to myself. And I was like, wait, what is the words again? How am I forgetting this? I've been listening to this song so much. So the more closer it got, the less I felt prepared, if that makes sense. Which just goes to show, even I'm also a mere mortal, and I am a relatable host at the end of the day. Yeah,
You're just a local. All right.
just a local.
So Thursday evening comes around, you all get there, you're all in the car park, and I believe you met some other younger people there, if I understood it correctly.
Yeah.
Maya, can you tell us a little bit about who you met in the car park?
For sure. Well, first of
Who
all,
helped
I
out?
barely made it, which was like,
Yeah.
I was like down to the last wire. And thank you for having them hold for me, which was a battle in itself. But it was so cool. You know, we had a lot of fans who were there that, you know, people have met throughout their time and their journey with Coldplay. And then it was really neat that we had about 7 students from a local Dallas school choir who also got to participate. They might not have been as enthusiastic in terms of being fans, but I thought it was like such a stellar experience for them. Apparently, they had only heard like at 8 p.m. the night before that this was going to be happening, and so their choir director was frantically getting people to come on board. But everybody who was there just had so much enthusiasm, and I think it was like one of those really neat opportunities, especially as a senior in high school, to just say like, this is one of the opportunities that I'm going to get right before I graduate, right before I go off and do my whatever comes next. It seemed like a really good opportunity for them, and they seemed like beyond excited.
It's amazing, you know, they thought about that and invited such people, but also to make sure that it sounded good. I guess most importantly.
A little extra help, but and they provided.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a worry for us, like us older fans. We were just clearing our throat, like, I don't think this is what they're looking for.
They really want this.
We needed those high schoolers to help make us sound good.
We did.
Sure.
I'll never forget hearing them like practice too. I was like, okay, yeah, definitely we'll be fine. If I just
they were doing the whole warm-up thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would be totally okay if they're the ones who take the lead and I just sort of gawk and stare.
Amazing. All right. So then I believe like you're on the car park, you pointed towards some shipping containers, let's say.
Mhm.
And then, you know, Abby, talk us through that experience, that first encounter, how everything like played out prior to maybe the actual singing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so wild. It kind of went. So we were in this random car park that they had us in. Then a staff member kind of came in, collected all of us, and took us to the stadium. We went to some room where they just gave us some snacks and some like food and water, really, so that we aren't famished by the time we do this whole thing. And it was also like in the evening. And that's when the choir teacher who was like looking after all the high schoolers also sat all of us down, and we kind of went through the song once and all the parts that we were expected to know, and just make sure that we're enunciating correctly, our tones are correct. You know, we kind of practice that. I think that practicing that really helped, even though obviously super fans like us know the song, but I think just kind of doing it again and again a couple of times really calmed everyone down.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Some of us, yeah.
Some of us, it comes some of us then. And so time kind of went by really quickly at that point. It was all a blur because it was all kind of so surreal. Whatever was happening, it didn't seem real. It just felt like an extended dream. And then came the one of another staff member kind of came in and asked us to leave basically all our possessions behind, and that's when we kind of knew. Maya, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, well, also I think like it's really important to set up the juxtaposition of what the morning and early afternoon was in Dallas in terms of the weather and just
Oh
like
yeah.
the miserable horribleness that occurred, which led me to kind of feel like, is this even going to happen? To then to where, to your point, this like surreal sort of like beautiful pink skies. We're like walking out to these shipping containers, and like for me, I'm like, it sounds dramatic, but honestly, it's like time stood still. I was like, okay, we're slowly making, we're being led by this, just everybody, all the staff was incredible, just so sweet and thoughtful. And I think it was really, you know, mirrored the fact that we as fans have this idea of who the band is, and just to see that everybody who works among them is just as equally great was awesome. And so we slowly start to go towards the shipping containers. Everybody sort of having their own feelings. I know that I was insanely jittery, and I just wanted to be there and just like do the song and just like not faint. And so that was my overall thought. But it was such a relief to sort of just walk on by and just be like, we made it. People came through hell or high water, but it was really cool to kind of have that moment of like, wow, we're actually going to do this.
So talk me a little bit through the moment where, you know, you're taken to these shipping containers. And by the way, it seems Coldplay love shipping containers this era. Higher Power, My Universe, and now this. There's a guy in a blue t-shirt standing over there. There's a guitar on his back.
Blue t-shirt.
Yeah. This exact one. Well, not exact one. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Tell us about that experience, like the approach and just walking up to Chris.
Yeah, it was so weird because okay, so this is what happens. And let me try and set the stage here. We're in Texas. Okay, so everything's massive in Texas, which includes the stadiums, car parks, the food that you eat. The shipping containers that were there were obviously all to ship the actual stage, etc. And it was this huge, like just space and area with like massive trucks and shipping containers. Right, and it's all backstage feelings here. And then you see what this dude in like a blue t-shirt standing in the far with a guitar in his hand and nobody else around him at all, like one or two staff members maybe, and you know it's Chris. And with this group of 20 fans, I think 18 to 20 fans, and you know a couple of staff members to make sure that we didn't run away or something, just walking slowly, and it was the longest walk I've done in a while. At least if it was so long because it was so weird. We were all walking calmly. Nobody was running. We were just walking like normally. And we know we're approaching Chris Martin. And we were like, are we supposed to stop? I feel like we're supposed to stop. We shouldn't be allowed to just walk up to Chris Martin the way we're walking up to Chris Martin right now.
Yeah, I love the freedom they gave us. They were just like, none of these people are going to run up there. None of these people are going to just like faint. Like they understood we got the assignment.
Yeah, it was very surreal. And then we got slower and slower. And then I think we all started audibly saying, do you want us to stop? We'll stop. But just tell us what to do. Don't just give us free will. Um, And then yeah, we got there, and then Chris kind of just turned around and looked at us and said hi, and it kind of started going on from there.
It was so like brilliant. He introduced himself to every person, just like got everybody's names, repeated them. It felt so special and so intimate for someone who's just this megastar, and to take the time and learn everybody's names and really personally go around and sort of thank them for being here. That was incredible.
Yeah, gave everyone a fist bump, asked everyone's names. One of the fans there was very very shy. She tried to like hide behind someone else and tried not to say hi to Chris. And Chris noticed and said, "Oh, you're shy," and then gave her like a half hug. It was all very sweet.
Very sweet.
Extremely nice of him. And he gave everyone, I think throughout the whole interaction, he gave everyone a lot of time. So everyone felt very involved. Um, and yeah, do you want us to kind of go into like basically how it went from there to the singing?
Um, yeah, I mean, the next question I had was, you like, it comes to the singing part.
Yeah.
You've probably lost all feelings in your legs by now, like
Yeah.
after your 800-meter walk. where you can see it coming the whole way. And yeah, my one question is, Abby, how the hell did you end up being stood right next to Chris?
I
How
still
did you
don't
pull that
know.
one off?
I honestly, I swear to God, I had nothing to do with this. This is just insane luck. We were all standing in like a semicircle. He asked us to gather around, and then said very nicely, like in his humble way, it's like, "Oh, we just need your help to play this song called Humankind. I don't know if you know." And then we were like, "Yeah, we know." So obviously we know. And then he's like, "Okay, so we'll just do that." And it was, I would say, it wasn't like a very super thought out mechanical process. They were just kind of wanted to see what the best vibe was. So Chris said, let's try in this behind these shipping containers. There's good lighting there. Let's try and be in the sun. And the reason I ended up where I ended up was like, I just kind of went and stood somewhere, and then people just kind of happened to gather around me. And I don't know how that happened. And then there was the first take I think that we did, where I was kind of people were a little bit separated, and I was right behind Chris. So I was just hoping that my face would kind of like peek in and out from behind him. Um, and then I think we did that first take, and then he asked all of us to kind of gather even closer. And then he told me like, you should stand aside, don't let me cover you. And then I kind of just ended up, okay, wait, I'm literally right next to him now. So that was never my plan at all. It just kind of fell into place, yeah, in the way it did.
Lucky for you, right?
I don't know. It's really terrifying. I keep seeing this video reposted, or like people put this picture up everywhere, and it's just really terrifying that I'm the face looking at the camera. Like this first picture that I put up on the slide is such a scary picture to me. I was like, this is just gonna be there forever. So
Yeah, pretty much.
it's both a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah.
More of a blessing, I would say. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It just happened that way. That's cool. So,
yeah.
No one can hate you for that. It just happened like that.
It really did.
Yeah.
Because my whole point was I'm tall. I'm really tall. So I have to be in the back. So I really didn't want to cover anyone else, any other fan. I would hate that. So it just kind of fell into place the way it did.
Jimmy's in the comments, who was also there. He says you was there because you was the best singer we had
Okay,
amongst the
well,
fans.
then
It
that's
would have
Being
been
too kind,
nothing.
I
It would have
think.
been nothing without you.
that if that's the standard that I'm setting, then us Coldplay fans have a lot of work to do.
So run us through the singing experience. Like everyone's seen the video, obviously, but like how many takes? How did that play out?
It was
Maya, let's
honestly,
go.
I feel like honestly, I was shocked at how well and like quick it was. They took 2 takes. We had practiced, so luckily we knew our parts, and we kind of just ran it through. I think it was a much abbreviated version of the song, so I think that there definitely were a couple of people who wanted to continue singing and like maybe didn't get that the specific part ended when it was time for Chris to just sing, but it was relatively seamless. I was actually really shocked and especially when seeing the video, I'm like, wow, that's how simple it was. Like, this is how amazing the team is, or whoever put that together. With what we did in a very short time, was able to create a really special video.
Yeah, absolutely. There were like only one quote unquote professional uh, camera person really, and then another staff member was just taking a video on their phone as a backup, and there was just another staff member holding like a mic that's like attached to Chris's guitar, which you can probably
Yeah, I
see in
saw
the
that.
videos.
Yeah.
And that was it. And Chris was it was very nonchalant and casual in some ways, because I remember before our first take, or before the second take, one of the takes, we only did two. He looked back at us. He said, "This is for all your Twitter people." And I was like, "Okay, I guess we've
So
been
yeah, right,
recognized."
because you had the hang on, I have one here. The ColdplayXtra badge on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we had
Um,
that. Anyway.
so I mean, it's just like they keep an eye out on what fans are saying and stuff like that too. So I think that's kind of they wanted to give a treat to obviously the people there, but the fans themselves as well. So I think that was kind of the idea.
I feel like they are so appreciative of their fans, and like they really understand that none of this would be possible without them. And so it's really cool that, Coldplay looks for any sort of instance in which they can give back or feel that camaraderie and transcend it out.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree.
People keep turning up to the show, so it's going well. um, so after the two takes, all pretty much done, like as far as the recording and what they kind of needed to happen. What happened next? Abby, do you want to just explain?
Yeah, after that was, I think the whole interaction from the start to the end was about half an hour, I want to say. But it was both, it felt short enough where it was like, oh, it got over so quickly, but long enough where I didn't feel like it was rushed in any way. The moment we were done with the second take, I think Chris was very happy with how it sounded to his ear, and he just said, "Okay, that's it, we're good." Um, and then he said, asked everyone to kind of gather around a little bit, and said, "Okay, I'll do one more song for you guys, and then I gotta go." So this was a mistake, obviously, because he forgot that he had invited some pretty big Coldplay fans. So we started off asking for songs that we knew that he would never play or even remember. So I heard requests from Green Eyes. One, I like Green Eyes, so I was happy someone said that. Someone said Strawberry Swing.
Screaming
Uh,
strawberry swing. I was like, if this could happen, my life will be made. But obviously,
it was what else? There were a few more. There was someone asked for one of the high schoolers asked for Yellow, but then Chris said we're gonna play that tomorrow. Um, so there were all kinds
It
of
also
requests.
depends on the guitar tuning he had for
Exactly,
Humankind.
exactly.
He
yeah,
likes really strange guitar tunings, so he can only play so much
yeah,
Exactly.
anyway. So yeah,
And
it was
then
a mistake.
I could see him getting more and more like overwhelmed by these requests that he knew that he could not fulfill. And then I asked for a song which I knew he was going to say no to, but I just wanted to mess with him a little bit because I was wearing my Everyday Life t-shirt. So I said, "Hey, why don't you play Old Friends?" And then he looked at me and then he took like a small pause and he said, "Okay, this is a bad idea." It's very, it was very, very funny how that whole thing kind of devolved. And then after that, he just said, "Okay, no more. I'm not going to sing on a song. Let's just chat," which I think, in hindsight, was a much better experience because you people hear Chris Martin sings songs all the time, but to get a chance to just have a conversation with him is I would say better for sure. So that's kind of how it went.
yeah. And his engagement and just like really wanting to learn about people, and that was really exceptional. And I didn't talk as much to Chris because I was located a little bit further away, if you could tell in the video. But I was really lucky enough to be like stood next to Phil. So that was really fun to chat to him. Talk tennis, which was great. Talked about I'm excited to go to the shows in Wembley, so talked about that a little bit, and yeah, it's cool. It was really
Amazing.
neat that they spent that kind of time with us.
I was just about to say, Chris wasn't the only Coldplay member there. There's Phil
So
there, and yeah,
Phil
yeah,
was standing off a little bit to the side, and then Chris invited him over. I'm assuming because he wanted to have someone else there to
yeah,
also help talk to people. So, um,
nice,
but yeah.
amazing. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys have any like personal stories you want to tell about what you talked about. If not, cool. Give you five
Yeah.
seconds, maybe. Like, go on, go for it. Because I know, like, some of these conversations they're personal to you, or sometimes you don't want to overshare things. But if you're comfortable, go for it. No pressure.
I think one of the things that I was really nervous about, I right before I left to go to the event, I wrote a note and I was like, you know what? If I give it to them, I give it to them. If I don't, I don't. But I'll written this note, and if it makes its way, I'll be super happy. And so I was a little bit further off from Chris. Like I said, talked to Phil mostly, and then at the end, I was like, okay, here's my opportunity. And so I handed him the note, and he was like, "Oh, that's so kind," and he put it in his pocket, and it just felt so good to know that like all the thoughts and things that I definitely would not have been able to say to him in person because I would have fainted. He was then able to read and hopefully able to pass those along. So that was like that was really special.
That's super
Yeah,
sweet.
that's so nice. That's so nice.
Abby, anything from your side, or
Uh, yeah, there was lots of, again, because I got somehow placed right next to him, I was able to take part in all the conversations a little bit just because I was literally right next to him. But I think one or two personal ones. was one, I apologized to him about the whole coloratura thing. That's kind of happened because he was talking about how much they would like it's been in demand and they know about it and everything. And I was like, I'm really sorry. People are asking about it, and he was very kind and sweet about that too. Um, a couple of other things were he this didn't come from me at all. I was looking at Phil, and then he asked me about like the scar I have on my neck and like the story behind that. So I kind of told him about that, and then it kind of led into how I how that's kind of connected into me getting into Coldplay to the level that I am in right now, and why ghost stories mean so much to me. And he was really like it was a good few minutes of just me talking to Chris about this. And that was obviously really special because it came out of nowhere. I had no intention of really going into that. I didn't want to burden him with another story that he's probably
Oh,
heard many times, but it kind of came out of that very naturally. So it was very sweet. And I think the one thing, if anyone ever gets the chance to meet Chris Martin, don't worry so much about taking a picture or whatever. The interaction with him is so special because the way he looks at you is like he's looking into your soul, and it's a bit daunting, but it's also
so
very
you
special.
so you mean talk more? Don't just ask for the
Yeah,
photo.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Connect with him as a human being if you ever get a chance, and I can guarantee it'll be a much more special experience. And he will love that too. He will ask you if you want to take a picture eventually. Um, and this kind of group picture that came out was also it wasn't asked by a fan. It was just I think it came from the staff and Phil maybe saying like, yeah, let's do a picture as well. So um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, it was very
Nice.
special, very special.
Extremely
That's
special.
Yeah,
so nice to hear. And like you say, yeah, maybe you'd have got a rare song, but personal moments like that with, I guess, your idol is pretty insane. So,
absolutely,
so happy for
absolutely.
you all. Not that many people watching this can relate, but sometimes it's good to hear the stories. um, so Chris is gone. Maya's handed him the note. He's on
Mhm.
his way. You guys are standing around. Do you remember that feeling? What was next? How did you celebrate? Did you even sleep that night? There's a gig the next day.
I
Maya,
think,
do
Talk
you
me
want
through it.
Maya, do
yeah,
you
Yeah,
want
go
to go
ahead.
first?
I think that I was shocked and but also just so incredibly grateful. It was just like it was hard to believe that this had just happened, but knowing that it did, and to your point, like I didn't feel like I needed a picture. I didn't feel like I needed anything. Just to know that I had that moment and that just occurred, and to hear the wonderful things that everybody got to speak with Chris and Phil about, and just really know that that did just happen to me. The shock was unparalleled. I don't think I celebrated. I don't think it was we all had to get ready for the concert the next day. That was like priority. But just I did when I got back to the Airbnb, I definitely did cry. I was like, wow, this is insane. I started to love Coldplay when I was 8 years old. And I think if I was able to tell 8-year-old Maya that that had just occurred, she would be extraordinarily just ecstatic. And so it was like all of those emotions like hitting me when I got back. It was crazy.
It is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
How about you,
Yeah.
Abby? How did you feel right
Um,
after?
I think so. Surreal for me, absolutely. I didn't. I for me, it's weird because even when we had the like the chance to interview Phil, it's such an out of body experience in some ways because these are your heroes, your idols, really, people you kind of look up to, and who made so many special memories for you. So it's hard to know that it's happening, and sometimes you're on autopilot in that mode. But then when you're out of it, it feels just so special. It feels very incredible. And I think after that, all I felt was just grateful, and like my heart felt really full that whole thing kind of happened. I did struggle to sleep for sure, um, but I think that's the overriding sense. I just feel so ridiculously grateful and privileged and lucky that it kind of
Yeah.
happened the way it did. So that's all, really. That's all there is to it.
I think it's really interesting too, because there are definitely times where you'll like meet someone who you idolize, maybe not to the extent that we idolize Coldplay, but like you'll meet someone who's a public figure and you'll think, oh, they're not what I expected, or they're exactly what I expected, and that's super cool. But like Coldplay and like Chris himself is like beyond what you would expect, even all the positive things that you would expect. He's just like this insanely thoughtful, kind force that like I don't think I've ever been around someone like that. So it just leaves you feeling just
Oh,
incredible.
one sec. Sorry. I my This mechanism here that we are working on kind of glitched and we went to the intro screen, but we're back. We should be. So sorry for that chat. We're back.
Awesome.
I I don't know why that happened, but we're back.
My office tomorrow morning.
I knew it was the
No
end.
worries. We were just saying, I think.
No, I think
Yeah,
the chat
yeah.
heard you. It was just a visual that kind of changed.
Oh, it was just a visual. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry
That's
about
okay.
that.
So it was, yeah. I mean, the saying is don't meet your idols, but I feel like that might not apply to Coldplay. Well, it might. Depends what kind of experience you have, right?
I think
But,
I would say one thing.
Oh shit! They're all very kind people.
No, absolutely. And I would say one thing. I think, at least for me, and this I felt from the show as well. Coldplay have aged so gracefully as people, and it's such a. I'm not. They make you feel like obviously very special, but it's also like meeting human beings, people who are normal, natural human beings. So it doesn't feel like you're meeting some prima donna, whether it's the staff, whether it's Phil, whether it's Chris. It never feels that way at all. So it's because they've aged that way so gracefully and they kind of have a lot of perspective about life and everything. It's just, yeah, you can definitely meet your idols in Coldplay's case for sure.
Yeah.
There's no ego maniac going on here.
Not at
which
all.
is probably why we love them as well.
Yeah.
All right, so that was like a pretty insane and crazy way to start the US tour adventures, I would say. Maya, obviously you went to the show in Santo Domingo, so you kind of knew what to expect the next day, show-wise. Abby, you've been following everything online as part of your job as the team. But this was your first like actual concert going experience to Music of the Spheres World Tour show. How was it? Give us a lowdown. How's it sat with you in the last few days after the show?
I think I was lucky enough to see them at Global Citizen. But obviously, it's not a Coldplay show per se. But I will say, I think this is the best show I have ever been to in my entire life, by far. Every concert, you can put all of them on one side, put Head Full of Dreams, put any other concert on the side. The current Music of the Spheres tour that's happening is easily the best concert you'll ever go to. It's insane. It's a next level experience for sure.
You're selling it very well.
Oh yeah, it's so
Why?
good.
Come on, why? What's sticking with you? Like, if you can pick out maybe 3 moments or something like that, or
I think
why does it make you feel like that?
I think it has to start with the production quality. It's increased leaps and bounds from a Head Full of Dreams in terms of the pyrotechnics, the confetti, the lighting, the sound quality, the big screens. Everything feels like a Head Full of Dreams was a world-class tour. That's why it did so well. That's why it was the third or now fourth biggest tour of all time. And that was just set the benchmark of what a world-class tour is. Music of the Sphere store kind of changes that definition completely, and that's the new benchmark. A Head Full of Dreams concert is a very good concert right now, as it stands. But a Music of the Spheres concert is a world-class concert. So the production quality is definitely like miles ahead of what Head Full of Dreams used to be. I know there's been a lot of complaints about the set list, or like people have a lot of opinions about it, or whatever they want to say. But right now, the way it flows and the energy it gives out, and the way it kind of ebbs, both in positive and kind of like down moments, is very, very good. It's almost close to perfection. Yes, us as super fans will have preferences. Yes, we'll say like, oh, maybe this song should be in there or whatever. But right now, it's almost as close to perfection as possible. So they don't really need to fiddle around with it too much. They can. It'll be really special if they do. But it's just so like it's like buttery smooth. It's really there's not even one moment you're like, well, this feels out of place, or this feels wrong, or whatever. Even with the puppet and the light club edition and everything, it all still kind of works out in a sense.
I have a
And
comment on that because I
yeah,
really love the puppet
oh,
and the
you do.
Light Club and the alien heads. Yeah, and I think, you, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head. Like, why is it such a great show? I've not been to a show yet. You can say it, but like, imagine on Head Full of Dreams show, the next day you go and tell a friend, oh, I went to see Coldplay last night. It was incredible. And they're like, okay. And then that's it. Like, why was it
Hmm.
incredible? Oh, they did the songs and they were really good. Okay. You can now say that all of that stuff, like, oh, it was really good. Plus, they had this puppet at one stage. And you're like, what? And
Yeah.
then they put these alien heads on and they had a little disco rave. And, you know, like, it's like those what moments that really probably going to pull other people in with
Hmm.
interest to really, take more interest.
Yeah. I want to let Maya also give her thoughts and compare a little bit and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I also have a couple more things I'd say after that for sure. So Maya, you can go first.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
do the whole set list breakdown show anyway
I know we've been
sometime soon.
promising. We've been promising to do
There's a Coldplay baby in the hood, so
that.
it's harder. Maya, you're obviously the Music of the Spheres tour veteran right now.
Hmm.
How did what I'm curious most about is like how does the US shows now with GA, which is general admission standing, compare with the Latin American energy? Because it looks like it's made a massive difference from the outside.
Yeah, I think if I had never gone to another show and like if Santo Domingo was the last Coldplay show I'd ever seen, I would say that it was perfect. But I would really bite my words because after going to Dallas, I've never seen anything like that. Like it was so absolutely incredible. It was a whole nother level. Like the show that I saw just a month before was fantastic, but they really blew it out of the water. I think like production levels, I think the synergy between everyone, I feel like, I don't know, you could feel it. It was palpable, sort of just like the way that all four of them were interacting and just sort of the joy that they were having on stage. I would have thought it would be hard, and not that any crowd is better than any other crowd or that any sort of vibe is, but I was really shocked by the enthusiasm of the Dallas crowd and how receptive, how excited, and how crowded it was.
Yeah.
And just to see those sort of fans and like have that sort of moment. When I was in Santo Domingo, there was a lot of kind of stopping the show because a mistake has happened or sort of like retracting and going back or whatnot. And so you don't realize, because it's sort of fun, you catch the moment like, oh, this is neat, like this happened in my show or whatnot, but like you kind of don't realize how that does sometimes take away from a concert or from like an experience. And so them just pretty much nailing everything and just like having this extraordinarily seamless set list and flow to the concert. And then it was beautiful when they added the hearts in Human Heart, and just like really cool to see some of the ways that they've changed and tweaked the show in just a small amount of time.
Yeah, I think they were still kind of experimenting around the Santo Domingo time, and now they're pretty much fully confident with it. But like for me, I think because you've been to, and Abby as well, you've been to floor seats on the last tour.
Yeah.
And it can be a bit dead around there. They're generally quite high priced. High priced tickets bring potentially low energy fans into the main areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like just looking at the clips, the energy, not only that the band give off, but the fans giving it back. That seems to be a massive game changer, I think, for US shows. Long overdue.
100%. I think firstly, I think it was so special the time that I had with everybody prior to the show. And just, I got there super early just because I knew that one, I wanted a good seat, but also like, what else am I going to do other than think about being near the show the whole day? So just that camaraderie that comes with like waiting in a line all day and like being ready, and just like the sprint that we had to that stage, I don't know how I survived it. We're lucky that I'm here right now talking to y'all. Like it was usually, there's the initial run. This was like half a mile full on, get to your seat. But then being in that arena and that environment with people and just having, I think we danced the majority of the show, and just like the fans were true fans and like really excited to be there. And having that sort of standing, I think it would only be able to be created in sort of like a standing room only sort of environment. So yeah, it's long overdue, but very happy that it's here.
Amazing. All right. Abby, you was doing this thing with Maya and Eduardo, and in the other show as well, the last show we had with, sorry, I forgot their names.
Yeah, we
My
had
bad.
fans from Mexico and Colombia and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Eliana was
Eliana.
there, and sorry, my bad. Blame the baby.
It's Haley.
Yes, the baby and played over there. I can barely remember my name. You're fine.
You can see I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. Anyway, we're nearly there. Don't worry, guys. You was doing this thing where you ask everyone like 3 standout songs from the show, not the whole set list. Like, what's your 3 standout songs? So go ahead, Abby. Let us know. What was it? What give you the biggest impact on that night?
The first 2 I can't rank. Let me start with this. Okay.
You don't have to rank them. It can just be
No,
fun.
no, no. One I can rank, which is Sky Full of Stars.
That's number 1.
Oh my God. Whatever the fact that they've told people to put their phones down, and the better confetti and the better lighting packages and the more energy and the
Finally,
fireworks.
Finally.
Oh my God. It's the amount of euphoria you will experience during that song will leave you feeling like this is what happiness is, and I don't know if I'll ever achieve it ever again. It's insane how good that song is live now, especially with the no phones thing. It transforms the whole crowd naturally. So yeah, that's definitely the best song on that set list right now. You will, and it's like it's the second third of the set list, so it reaches like a peak at that point before they go to the C stage. I think the other 2 is a really it's such a toss up. I really love Humankind. Um, Not also now that it has a special place, obviously for me, but just generally great energy in that crowd as well, and it's so much fun, and everyone is singing "I know, I know, I know" in the crowd. You can like hear people around you kind of say that as well.
People who've been tagging us in the clips on Instagram, even at the back, like they're all dancing and singing along to Humankind. It's become a real good anthem so quickly.
Oh,
because it's not a radio hit yet, and it's not been pushed too much. Like they didn't perform it until a month ago, so the fact that it's just naturally become this major live anthem is amazing.
Incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. I think the other ones, it's tough, really. It really is. I would say Higher Power kind of has a great magic to it as well. Just when they all walk out on stage and then the wristbands like are pulsating along with the Music of the Spheres intro, and then Higher Power starts. Especially the outro with the confetti and the fireworks and everything. Again, great song. And People of the Pride, I want to give a shout out to that song as well, because it's immediately after Human Heart. And I know Human Heart gets a lot of stick, but I think it's important to have that song before People of the Pride, because then People of the Pride like really hits and hits hard. Um, and it's people are really, I think a lot of people, the locals really who haven't heard it, are really taken aback by it. So by the time the second chorus hits for People of the Pride and the last one hits, everyone's really like kind of headbanging and going for it. So that would probably be my highlights after this first show for sure.
Amazing. Maya, I know you gave us 3 songs last time, but it was a different show, like you said. So what from this show in Dallas, what was this kind of stand out?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't even remember the 3 that I gave last time, but definitely Humankind. I'm not ranking them, but Humankind is amazing. I mean, you said enough about it. It's just like such a great full stadium anthem. Like you can't really top it. And another one for me that like really struck home, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the surroundings, sort of just like everything we went through for the day, like this amazing feeling of connectedness that I felt with everybody the night before and then in line and just sort of at the concert. But Fix You really hit home and the Dallas show. And I think that Chris was really connected to it, which also made it feel special. And then just sort of like being there so close and seeing the impact that this song has had for so long, and like having everybody in the stadium sing it was really special in Dallas. And then lastly, I think I also, there was something about higher power this time. And I was fortunate enough to go to like Coldplay New York last year where they were everywhere. And so the song was definitely not
the whole month.
Yeah, literally. But this song just like it was really cool to be in that stadium and hear it. I wasn't expecting to have it be like, it's coming, but it was just like, wow, this is awesome. Like we started, like this is they're on it tonight. So yeah, those are my three. Ask me next show. I'm sure they'll be different, but for Dallas, that's what I got.
I think for me, Higher Power is the song that's grown on me the most since the album's dropped. And I was quite skeptical when they released it as a single. I was like, is this really a big single? This kind of thing. I was skeptical throughout the whole thing. And I think I only give it like a 7 out of 10, but I know something's just happened, I think, since I would say November, where it's just become one of my favorites. And this happened to A Sky Full of Stars, which eventually became my number one favorite as well. So there's something about that.
Well, if you get the chance, you're gonna love Sky Full of Stars.
Well, that's the thing. Like, look, I'll be lucky to get to one show this year. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
You have to. But,
yeah. We'll try. We'll try our best. So sorry, we only got 2 there, I think, Maya. And then no, you got 3.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Abby, can I pass you back the hosting duties and you can wrap up?
Sure, absolutely. I think my final thoughts on the show itself is, and I'm not gonna like say anything from my personal experience. I took a friend from undergrad to the Dallas show. She lives close. She lives in Texas, was not too far away from Dallas, so she kind of came over. We met up after many years. That was really special. And she's not a big Coldplay fan. She's a casual listener. She's heard some of the hits. She hadn't heard Music of the Spheres, the album, at all. So she was definitely going in blind and was just kind of coming because she wanted to give me company and also wanted to hang out. And I told her, convinced her that it's going to be a great show. You should definitely just trust me on this one. So she said, okay, I trust you. We'll see how it goes. She heard Music of the Spheres for the first time on her drive over, said she loved it. So that was a good start already. Then I took her to the show, and there were moments in the show that was so amazing and euphoric for this casual Coldplay listener who's not seen a single image from this concert, who's not heard the album till like a day before, who's not heard half the songs who are on the set list, if not more. The look that she gave was like, oh my God, what is happening? What is this feeling I'm like getting right now? And after the end of the show, she was on such a high that she's like had never had before. And the next day, she told me that you did it. You converted me. I'm a Coldplay fan now. And like while we were driving around before she dropped me off at the airport, she was asking me, "Hey, can you play this Coldplay song? Can you play that song?" And I was like, "Wow, one show, no background, nothing at all." And this is how quickly she's converted into being a Coldplay fan. That's how much energy that she got out of that show.
Did you tell her to follow ColdplayXtra?
I think she already does now. So yeah, I think if that's not the best endorsement of the new tour, I don't know what else can be. Us fans will always love Coldplay, but if you can convert casuals into loving Coldplay so much after just one show, after just 2 hours, then it just goes to show how incredible the whole experience is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to touch on it a little bit, but I think, after the last 2 years, everyone being stuck at home, to go to a concert where, they open up with Higher Power, then Adventure, then Paradise, then Charlie Brown, like the energy is just going like this. So anyone's just going to feel amazing after about 5 songs.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's party time. It's celebration. Let's be happy. Like Chris said, happy to be alive. So let's enjoy that.
Really are. I met a couple of other people as well who just randomly, when you're at campus concert, to say hi to people, you make some casual conversation. After the show, I met a couple of people who it was also their first show, and they were just struggling to describe what they were feeling. They were so happy to have experienced that. They're lost for words completely. They didn't know what adjectives or praises to use because none of the words seemed enough to kind of encapsulate that feeling. So let's see. And I think we're in for a really special coming months, and a lot of people are yet to experience the show. I think everyone's going
Yeah.
to be really, really happy.
Yeah. Anyone who's going to any US show or Europe show, or Latin America show later in the year, like got a lot to look forward to, as you can tell by Abby and Maya's review here. It makes me hyped, and I don't even know if I'm going. So.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed.
All right, let's wrap up. Thanks,
Let's wrap
everyone.
up. Thank you, Maya. That was very, very great. It was nice to see you.
Yeah.
And thank you again for coming on our show. Hopefully, we'll see you and others will see you around in other coming shows.
Yeah.
And Ian, all the best for Haley and dad duties and everything that's coming with.
Thanks,
We're all
man.
wishing luck. Let me know if you need anything. Not that we're in the same geographical
I
location or
need
the
more
same
sleep.
continent.
That's all.
You need sleep? Okay, well, I'll try and fix that somehow. Thank you, Chad, for joining us as always. And yeah, see you around. See you at more corporate shows. Let us know if you're going to any. Keep tagging us on content and stay tuned to ColdplayXtra Live and ColdplayXtra for upcoming content and news. See you all later. Take care. Bye bye.